The small blue planet turned slowly below the hidden station. From his viewing window, Tae-ho Kim watched Earth with a mix of wonder and sadness. For 5 years, he had studied the humans. For 5 years, he had sent reports back to the Galactic Council. And for 5 years, he had been told the same thing. Humans are savages, not worth talking to, not worth saving. But Tae-ho wasn't so sure anymore. "Observer Kim, your final report is due in 6 hours," said a cool voice behind him. Tae-ho turned to see Commander Ji-ho standing in the doorway of the observation deck. Tall and thin with perfect posture, Ji-ho had never missed a deadline or broken a rule in his 30 years of service to the Council. "I know, Commander. I'm still making some final notes," Tae-ho said, looking back at the blue planet. "Notes? The assessment is clear. Earth is a Level 2 primitive world." Ji-ho walked over and stood beside Tae-ho. "They kill each other over land and resources. They poison their own air and water. They can barely leave their own atmosphere. What more is there to study?" Tae-ho pointed to his screen, where videos from Earth played in a row. "Look at this, sir. They make music that can make you cry. They build amazing things with simple tools. They care for animals that give them nothing in return. Emotional arguments have no place in council reports," Ji-ho said firmly. "The rules for classification are clear. Earth fails on 15 of the 20 markers for advanced civilization. But no buts, Observer Kim. Your job is to observe and report facts, not feelings." Ji-ho's face softened slightly. "I know this is your first long-term observation post. It's normal to feel attached to your subject species, but the Council's decision is final. Earth stays classified as primitive, which means no contact and no interference." After Ji-ho left, Tae-ho sighed deeply. The commander was right. The Council had strict rules about which planets deserved to join the galactic community. Advanced technology, unified government, sustainable living, peaceful resolution of conflicts. Humans failed on nearly every measure. Yet something inside Tae-ho couldn't accept it. In his 5 years watching Earth, he had seen terrible things, yes, wars, pollution, cruelty. But he had also seen incredible kindness, creativity, and courage. Humans helped complete strangers during disasters. They created art that lasted for centuries. They fought for ideas like freedom and justice, even when it cost them everything. How could the Council only see the bad and none of the good? Tae-ho returned to his small room in the monitoring station. Hidden in orbit around Jupiter, the station was home to 20 observers and support staff. Their job was simple: watch Earth and report back. Never interfere, never reveal themselves. Just observe and judge. His room was plain but comfortable, with a bed, a desk, and a wall screen that could show any view from Earth. Right now, it displayed a sunset over a city called Paris. Humans stood in crowds, taking pictures of the orange sky and the metal tower that stood against it. Tae-ho sat at his desk and began working on his final assessment report. This report would determine Earth's status for the next 50 years. If he marked them as primitive again, which was the obvious choice by Council standards, Earth would remain isolated, unaware that they were being watched and judged by the rest of the galaxy. Hours passed as Tae-ho carefully wrote his report. He included all the required data: technology levels, war statistics, pollution metrics, social development indexes. By every official measure, Earth remained firmly in the primitive category. But at the end of the report, Tae-ho added a personal note. While humans fail to meet Council standards in many areas, this observer believes they show exceptional potential in adaptability, creativity, and moral growth. Their rate of technological development is among the fastest recorded for any species. Their capacity for empathy extends beyond their own kind. I recommend reconsideration of their classification within 25 years rather than the standard 50. It wasn't much, but it was the most he could do within the rules. Tae-ho sent the report to Commander Ji-ho for final approval, then returned to the observation deck for one last look at Earth before his shift ended. The night side of the planet glittered with city lights, billions of humans going about their lives unaware they were being watched. unaware their fate was being decided by beings they couldn't imagine. "I hope you prove me right," Taiho whispered to the distant lights. Suddenly, an alarm blared throughout the station. Red lights flashed along the corridors as Taiho ran toward the control room. "What's happening?" he asked as he rushed inside. The control room was chaos. Screens flashed with warning symbols as the staff worked frantically at their stations. "Unknown vessel detected entering the solar system," reported Subin, the sensor specialist. Her fingers moved quickly over her console. "It's huge, at least 5 kilometers long, and it's not responding to identification requests." "Council vessel?" Commander Jiho asked, his usual calm voice now tight with tension. "Negative. Not matching any known council designs," Subin replied. "It's unlike anything in our database." Taiho moved to a screen showing the mysterious ship. It was dark and angular, with strange growths that looked like a mix of technology and living tissue. It moved with purpose, accelerating toward the inner planets. "Its path will take it directly to Earth," said Donghun, the navigation officer. "Estimated arrival in 6 hours. Commander Jiho's face hardened. "Monitor but do not engage. This is not our concern. Council protocol is clear. We observe only." "But sir," Taiho protested, "if that ship is hostile, then it is unfortunate for Earth, but not our problem." Jiho cut him off. "We are observers, not protectors. The humans are not part of the Council. They have no rights to our protection. We can at least warn them," Taiho argued. "Give them a chance to prepare." "That would be direct interference, Observer Kim. You know the rules." Jiho turned to address the entire room. "All staff will maintain observation protocols. Record everything. Report to Council headquarters but take no action. That is a direct order." The room fell silent. Everyone knew the rules. No one had ever broken them. As the hours passed, the alien ship moved closer to Earth. It ignored the monitoring station completely, not even changing course as it passed Jupiter. Whatever its purpose, the station and its observers were clearly not important. Taiho watched from his post, each minute feeling like an hour. The ship's details became clearer as it approached. Strange weapons covered its surface, and energy readings showed power levels far beyond human technology. Whatever this vessel was, Earth had no defense against it. In the quiet of his monitoring station, Taiho made the most important decision of his life. He waited until Commander Jiho left for his rest period. Then, using his access codes, Taiho entered the communication center. The night shift officer was alone, monitoring routine signals. "I need to check something in the Earth satellite network," Taiho told her. Commander Jiho asked for updated data for tomorrow's final report. The officer nodded and left for a quick break, trusting a senior observer's word. Alone in the communication center, Taiho worked quickly. He accessed Earth's primitive but growing satellite network and sent a simple message, bouncing it through their military communication channels to avoid detection. "Danger approaching from space. Not Council-affiliated. Massive ship. 6 hours until arrival. Prepare. This is not a drill." The message would seem to come from Earth's own satellites. It might be dismissed as an error or a prank, but maybe, just maybe, someone would take it seriously, and maybe humans would show the Council exactly why they shouldn't be called savages. As Taiho finished sending the message, the alarm sounded again. On the main screen, the alien ship had changed course slightly, accelerating toward Earth with new purpose. It had detected something. It was now moving with intent, and Earth had only hours to prepare for whatever was coming. Defense Minister Mina Park was about to go home when the message came. It was past midnight in Seoul, and she had spent 18 hours in meetings about the new satellite defense system. She was tired. She wanted her bed. Then the emergency light flashed on her desk. "What now?" she muttered, pressing the button on her phone. "Minister Park," said Colonel Sunwoo's urgent voice. "We just got a strange message through the military channels. You need to see this right away." 20 minutes later, Mina stood in the underground command center, staring at the message on the big screen. Around her, military officers and scientists, argued about what it meant. It has to be fake, said General June. Some hacker playing games. But it came through our secure satellite network, Colonel Sunwoo pointed out. And look at this. He pressed a button, and a new image appeared on the screen. It showed a radar picture with a large object moving toward Earth. This was just captured by our deep space monitoring station. Something big is coming. Mina looked at the fuzzy image. Her heart beat faster. After years of wondering if humans were alone in the universe, she might be the first person to find out they weren't, and it might not be good news. How long until it reaches Earth? She asked. 5 hours, maybe less, said Dr. Hana, the head scientist. It's moving very fast. Mina took a deep breath. Call the president. Call every major military leader. And get NASA and other space agencies on video conference. We need to verify this from multiple sources. Within an hour, the command center was packed with military leaders, scientists, and government officials. On large screens around the room, faces from America, Russia, China, and Europe looked equally concerned. All our tracking stations confirm it, said the NASA director. A massive object, definitely not natural, heading straight for Earth. It will reach our atmosphere in 4 hours. We need to prepare for the worst, said the Russian general. This could be an invasion, or a peaceful first contact, argued the European scientist. We can't take that chance, Mina said firmly. If this ship is hostile, we need to be ready. President Hayek, who had rushed to the command center, nodded. Activate all defense systems, but no aggressive actions unless they attack first. We don't want to start an interstellar war if we can avoid it. Around the world, military forces went on high alert. Fighter jets prepared for launch. Missile systems were made ready. Soldiers were called back to bases. The world's leaders agreed on one thing. Whatever was coming, Earth would face it together. As the hours passed, more details emerged about the approaching ship. It was massive, bigger than any spacecraft humans had ever built. Its shape was strange, with sharp angles and what looked like giant spikes sticking out from its sides. Can we talk to it? President Hayek asked. We're trying every frequency, Dr. Hana replied. No response yet. Then, 3 hours after the first alert, every electronic device on Earth received the same message. TV screens, cell phones, computers, radios, all suddenly showed the same words in each country's language. Primitive species of Sol 3. We are the Voidborn. You occupy space desired for harvesting. Your classification as non-sentient by Galactic. Council standards permits immediate resource extraction. Evacuation is unnecessary. A cold silence fell over the command center. Minister Mina felt her blood turn to ice. The message was clear. These aliens didn't see humans as people. They saw Earth as a resource to take. What does resource extraction mean? President Hayek asked quietly. I think, Dr. Hana said slowly, they plan to mine our planet, and they don't care if we're still on it. The alien ship entered Earth's atmosphere 2 hours later. It was even bigger up close, a dark mass of metal and strange materials that filled the sky above Seoul. Smaller ships began to leave the mothership, each about the size of an aircraft carrier. They're spreading out, Colonel Sunwoo reported, heading for different continents. On screens around the command center, they watched as one of the smaller ships positioned itself over the Pacific Ocean. A massive drill-like device extended from its bottom. They're going to start with the ocean, Dr. Hana said, probably for water and minerals. When the drill hit the ocean surface, the water boiled around it. The ground trembled. Within minutes, tsunami warnings blared across the Pacific Rim. They'll kill millions without even trying to fight us, Mina whispered. President Hayek's face hardened. We didn't ask for this war, but we will not let them destroy our home without a fight. He turned to General June. Launch all available. Weapons at the mining ships. Focus on the one causing the tsunamis first. But sir, the general said, our weapons might not even damage them. We have to try, the president insisted. Humanity will not die quietly. Around the world, as other mining ships began their work, Earth fought back. Jets scrambled to attack the alien vessels. Missiles launched from silos and ships. Experimental, Energy weapons, never before used in combat, powered up. The first wave of attack seemed to do nothing. Missiles exploded against invisible shields. Jets were swatted away like flies. The Voidborn continued their work, ignoring the humans completely. But then, something unexpected happened. A Russian experimental EMP weapon hit one of the mining ships at just the right spot. Its shields flickered. In that moment of weakness, Chinese and American missiles struck together. The mining ship shuddered, then listed to one side. In Seoul, the command center erupted in cheers as they watched the damaged alien ship struggle to stay airborne. "Hit it again," Mina ordered. This time, when the shields weakened, a combined attack from 5 nations struck the same spot. The mining ship's side cracked open. Strange lights flickered along its hull. Then, slowly at first but gaining speed, it fell from the sky and crashed into the empty ocean below. "We got one," Colonel Sunwoo shouted, his professional calm breaking. For a moment, similar scenes played out across the globe. 3 more mining ships were damaged or destroyed as Earth's military forces learned the aliens' weaknesses and exploited them. The Voidborn, clearly not expecting any resistance from primitives, were caught unprepared. Then, as suddenly as it had begun, the attack stopped. The remaining mining ships returned to the mothership. The drilling ceased. Earth trembled from the damage already done, but the immediate threat had paused. All devices received a new message. Resistance unexpected from primitives. Harvesting efficiency reduced by 42%. Reassessment required. We will return with appropriate harvesting force. The massive mothership rose from Earth's atmosphere, moving back toward space. Earth had won the first battle, but everyone knew the war had just begun. In the command center, as people celebrated their small victory, Mina noticed something on one of the screens. "What's that?" she asked, pointing to a small object leaving Earth's atmosphere following the Voidborn ship at a distance. Colonel Sunwoo checked the readings. It's nothing we launched, but it's definitely from Earth orbit." Minister Mina frowned. Something else was out there. Something that had been watching Earth, and she intended to find out what it was. 3 days after the aliens left, a small ship landed outside Seoul. It wasn't big or scary like the Voidborn ships. It was smooth and simple, about the size of a bus. Soldiers surrounded it immediately, weapons ready. When the door opened, a single figure stepped out. He looked almost human, except for his slightly blue skin and large eyes. He raised his hands to show he meant no harm. "My name is Tae-ho Kim," he said in perfect Korean. "I am the one who sent the warning. I need to speak with your leaders." The soldiers didn't lower their guns, but they called Minister Mina Park. Within an hour, Tae-ho sat in a secure room at the military base. Across from him were Minister Park, President Hyuk, and Professor Junho, Earth's top expert on possible alien life. "Why should we trust you?" Mina asked directly. "You look different from the Voidborn, but you could still be working with them." Tae-ho shook his head. "I am nothing like them. I worked, for the Galactic Council. I was stationed near your planet to observe humans." "Observe us? For how long?" President Hyuk demanded. "The Council has been watching Earth for over 200 years, Tae-ho admitted. "I personally have been here for 5 years." The humans exchanged shocked looks. Professor Junho leaned forward. "Why watch us and never make contact?" "Because the Council classified your world as primitive," Tae-ho explained. His voice was sad. "Level 2 on their scale. Not advanced enough for official contact." "So you've been judging us," Mina said coldly. "Deciding we're not good enough to join your space club." "Yes," Tae-ho admitted. "But some of us disagreed with that judgment. That's why I warned you about the Voidborn. I broke every rule to do it." "Why did these Voidborn attack us?" President Hyuk asked. "What do they want?" Tae-ho's face darkened. "The Voidborn are contractors for the Council. When a planet is classified as primitive, it can be harvested for resources. The Council gives contracts to companies like the Voidborn." "You mean the Council lets them destroy worlds?" Professor Junho asked, horrified. "Only primitive worlds," Taiho said. Worlds judged, not advanced enough to matter. The Council sees it as just taking resources from planets that would only waste them anyway. Mina slammed her hand on the table. So this Council labels us savages and then lets other aliens kill us for our resources? That's exactly what they do, Taiho confirmed. They've done it to hundreds of worlds, but there's something they didn't expect. What's that? President Hyuk asked. They didn't expect you to fight back and win, Taiho said with a small smile. No primitive world has ever damaged a void-born harvester before. You shocked them. But they'll be back, Mina said. With more ships, bigger weapons. Yes, Taiho agreed. But now you have time to prepare, and you have me. For the next 2 weeks, Taiho shared everything he knew about the Galactic Council and the Voidborn. He showed them advanced technology from his ship and explained how Council weapons worked. Most importantly, he revealed the Council's biggest secret. Earth isn't the only world they've done this to, Taiho explained as he showed a star map to the world leaders. All these red dots are planets currently classified as primitive. All are at risk of being harvested. There are so many, Professor Junho said, looking at the hundreds of red dots, and some of them are more advanced than the Council thinks. Taiho continued. The Council doesn't update its information very often. Some of these worlds could help us. Help us do what exactly? Mina asked. Fight back, Taiho said simply. The Council stays in power because they keep worlds separated and afraid. But together, even primitive planets might be strong enough to challenge them. President Hyuk studied the map carefully. How do we contact these other worlds? With my help, Taiho said. My ship can send messages faster than light. We can reach out to the closest worlds first. And tell them what? Mina asked. That we want to start a war with the most powerful force in the galaxy? No, Taiho replied. Tell them we want to form an alliance of free worlds. Tell them we've found a way to fight back against those who call us savages. The plan was risky, but simple. Taiho would use his knowledge to help Earth prepare for the Voidborn's return. At the same time, he would help them contact other threatened worlds. Together they might stand a chance. The first contact was with a planet called Terravis, just 12 light-years away. Its people looked like tall, thin humans with 4 arms. They had already suffered one harvesting attack and were desperate for help. We thought we were alone, their leader told Earth's representatives during the first video call. We thought no one else could fight them. You're not alone anymore, President Hyuk promised, and together, we will fight. Next came Blumar, a water world whose fish-like people had advanced underwater cities. Then Drolex, whose rock-like inhabitants had powerful mining technology. One by one, worlds that the Council had written off as primitive joined the growing alliance. Each world brought new ideas, new technologies, and new hope. What the Council saw as primitive, Taiho now recognized as diversity. These worlds didn't follow the same path as the Council, but they had their own strengths. Earth became the center of this new alliance. Teams of scientists from different worlds worked together, combining their knowledge in ways the Council had never imagined. Weapons systems from 6 different planets were merged to create defenses the Voidborn wouldn't expect. Mina worked closely with Taiho during these preparations. One night, as they reviewed plans for the new defense system, she asked him the question that had been bothering her. Why did you help us? You risked everything. Taiho was quiet for a moment. On my first day watching Earth, I saw a news story. A small boat of refugees was sinking. The people on board were from a country at war with the country whose waters they were in. By law, they should have been turned away. What happened? Mina asked. The local fishermen ignored their government. They sailed out and saved every person on that boat. When asked why, one old fisherman said, "The sea doesn't care about our borders. Out there, we're all just humans." Taiho looked at Mina. That's when I started to question what the Council taught us about primitive worlds. And now? Mina asked. Now, I believe the Council is wrong about many things, Taiho said. They call you savages because you don't follow their path. But maybe their path isn't the only right one. The Alliance grew to 12 worlds, then 20, then 50. Each had been deemed primitive by the Council. But together they created something new and powerful. They called themselves the Alliance of Sovereign Worlds. 3 months after the first attack, Earth's long-range sensors detected movement. A massive fleet was heading toward the solar system. The Voidborn were returning just as they promised. But this time, Earth was not alone. Ships from 30 different worlds moved into position around the planet. New weapons were ready. New shields were in place. This time, the savages were ready to show the Council exactly what they could do. The Voidborn fleet appeared at the edge of the solar system, a swarm of dark ships against the stars. There were hundreds of them, harvesters, fighters, and at the center, a command ship 5 times larger than the one that had attacked Earth before. In the unified command center beneath Sol, representatives from 50 different worlds watched the approaching fleet on the big screen. Some looked almost human. Others had blue skin like Tejo. Some had 4 arms or scales or feathers. But all shared the same determined look. Minister Mina Park stood at the main control station. "Are all defense systems ready?" "Yes, Minister," Colonel Sunwoo replied. "All Earth forces are in position. Alliance ships are in formation." President Hyuk turned to the alien representatives. "Your people are risking their lives for Earth. We won't forget this." The leader from Teravis, a tall 4-armed being named Lun, nodded. "And we won't forget how Earth showed us we could fight back. Today isn't just about your world, it's about all our worlds." The command center fell silent as the main screen showed a new message from the Voidborn fleet. "Primitive species of Sol 3. Your resistance was unexpected but futile. We have returned with appropriate force. Surrender your resources or be eliminated." Taiho, now wearing an Earth defense uniform, stepped forward. "They still think this is just about Earth. They don't know about the Alliance." "Good," said Mina with a grim smile. "Let's keep it that way until the right moment." The plan they had created was risky, but it played to the strengths of the Alliance worlds. The Council and the Voidborn expected standard warfare, big ships, direct attacks, known weapons. But the primitive worlds had learned to fight differently. President Hyuk nodded to Mina. "Begin Operation Savage." The first part of the plan was simple. Make it look like Earth was alone and scared. Small Earth ships approached the Voidborn fleet, firing weak weapons that bounced off their shields. The Voidborn barely responded, destroying a few Earth ships but mainly ignoring them as they moved toward the planet. "They're taking the bait," Taiho said, watching the screens. "They think we're desperate." "Phase 2, Mina ordered. Now the real plan began. From hidden positions around the solar system, Alliance ships moved into place. But they didn't attack the Voidborn ships directly. Instead, they targeted something else, the Voidborn communication network. One of the things Taiho had revealed was that the Voidborn, like most Council races, relied heavily on central control. Their ships were connected to the command vessel through special communication beams. Break those beams and the ships would be confused. Ships from the water world Blumar fired special weapons that created energy fields like ocean currents, disrupting the communication beams. Suddenly, many Voidborn ships slowed or moved in strange patterns. "It's working," Taiho said excitedly. "Their fleet coordination is breaking down." Now came Phase 3. Earth's contribution to the Alliance wasn't advanced technology but creative thinking. Humans had suggested something no Council race would ever consider: using old, simple weapons in new ways. Nuclear missiles, considered primitive and crude by Council standards, were modified with shields designed by 3 different Alliance worlds. When they hit the confused Voidborn ships, they didn't explode as expected. Instead, they created powerful electromagnetic pulses that shut down the advanced systems on dozens of Harvester ships. "The Harvesters are disabled," Colonel Sunwoo reported. Moving to Phase 4, this was where the rock people of Drolex showed their worth. Their ships, designed for mining asteroids, latched onto the disabled Voidborn vessels. Instead of trying to destroy them, they began taking them apart, piece by piece, harvesting the harvesters. On the main screen, the Voidborn command ship was now moving frantically, trying to regain control of its fleet. It fired powerful energy weapons at Earth, but they hit new shields designed by the combined science teams of 6 different primitive worlds. They're getting desperate, Taiho said. Now is the time for the final phase. Mina nodded and pressed a button on her console. All ships execute final attack pattern. This was the most dangerous part of the plan. While the main fleet kept the Voidborn distracted, a small special ship would approach the command vessel. This ship was piloted by Taiho, who knew Council though. Systems better than anyone. Taiho had left the command center an hour earlier. Now they watched on the screens as his tiny ship, using technology that made it nearly invisible, slipped past the Voidborn defenses. What's happening? President Hayek asked. Can he get through their shields? He doesn't need to, Mina explained. He just needs to get close enough. On his ship, Taiho worked quickly. He had spent weeks preparing for this moment. The Council and the Voidborn thought their advanced technology made them superior. But that technology had a weakness. It was all connected. Taiho's ship sent out a special signal, one that matched the Council's highest authority codes. To the Voidborn command ship, it looked like an order from the Council itself. When the IA command ship accepted the signal, Taiho's real plan began. He didn't try to destroy the ship. Instead, he uploaded a simple program, one created by Earth hackers working with Alliance scientists. The program spread through the Voidborn network like a virus, reaching every ship in their fleet. In the command center, everyone watched as the Voidborn ships suddenly stopped attacking. Their weapons powered down. Their engines went silent. What did he do? Loon asked in amazement. He gave them new orders, Mina said with a smile. And he sent something else too. Across the galaxy, on every world controlled by the Council, something unexpected happened. Every communication system, every news channel, every information network suddenly showed the same thing, the truth. Taiho had gathered proof of everything the Council had done. The fake classifications that labeled advanced worlds as primitive. The harvesting contracts that had destroyed hundreds of planets. The lies they had told their own people about the savage worlds. And most importantly, he showed what those savages had done. How Earth and its allies had defeated the most powerful fleet the Council could send. 3 days later, after the Yai, Voidborn fleet had retreated and the immediate danger had passed. Representatives from all the Alliance worlds gathered in Seoul for a victory celebration. The room was filled with beings from 50 different planets, all of whom had been called primitive and savage by the Council. Taiho stood next to Mina as President Hyuk addressed the gathered aliens. The Council thought being different meant being primitive, and the President said, "They called us savages because we didn't follow their path. But today we showed the galaxy that there are many paths to greatness, that our differences make us stronger, not weaker." He raised a glass. "Today we stop being the alliance of primitive worlds. From now on we are the united worlds, equal to any in the galaxy." Cheers filled the room in 50 different languages. Mina turned to Taiho. "What will the Council do now?" "They're in chaos," Taiho replied. "Many of their own people are demanding changes after seeing what we revealed. Some worlds are already leaving the Council to join us." "And the Voidborn? Without Council support, they're nothing," Taiho said. "Their contracts have been cancelled. Their ships are being dismantled." Mina looked around at the room full of beings from across the galaxy, all working together, all sharing ideas and technology, freely. "You know," she said with a smile. "For savages, I think we did pretty well." Taiho smiled back. "I never thought you were savages. And now, neither does anyone else."